Good afternoon, everyone. It's Liam Neild here with your MU review for Manchester United's midweek classic against Newcastle United at St James's Park, a 3-all draw, which I actually missed because I was at work. Yes, that's right. I have reviewed 7 or 8, maybe more, nil-nils this season that I've watched start to finish without getting up for so much as a piss. And I feel like I'm getting the piss taken out of me at this point because I have my first, afternoon shift of the new semester working on campus here, and I miss a 6-goal thriller. Now, obviously, considering the way the game ended up going, maybe it's for the best that I didn't actually, watch us piss the game away in the 90th minute because my TV might have ended up broken and that just wouldn't have been good for anybody. But it still is a bit annoying that I missed, probably our best attacking display for the last, 3 or 4 months, probably since Everton, really, obviously one of our worst defensive displays in that time period as well, but we'll get to that as well. But yeah, I didn't get to watch most of the game. I did watch the extended highlights though, so I feel like I'm still, in a decent position to give, a well-rounded review of the match. But ultimately, I'm going to hit the main points and we'll see where we go from here. I was mostly, I was satisfied with the fact that we were scoring goals. I managed to watch the first 10 minutes of the game. We got a very lucky penalty, very dubious penalty. Marouane Fellaini, he's a completely useless wanker at this point. I'm going to pull no punches. The one thing he's good at, allegedly on the pitch is, bringing the ball down on his chest, making himself, putting himself about and winning headers. And the fact that he didn't score with that, he didn't actually make contact with the header at the back post from a corner. He tried to control the ball on his chest 7 yards from goal instead of heading it. The guy's got no footballing brain. He's got a decent physical, attribute. I wouldn't even say attributes. He's maybe got two good attributes, his height and his strength. And he doesn't know how to use them because he's a complete fucking idiot. But anyway, he gets really lucky. We get really lucky. We get a penalty. Wayne Rooney, cool as you like, slots it home. I'm really starting to think that, we said it so many times earlier in the season when I was on with Matt. Every time he'd score a goal, we'd say, all right, Rooney, this is the one. This is the one that you're going to go on and, set the world alight again, you 30-year-old Scouse bastard. But it didn't end up happening. And maybe, he got a good goal against Swansea, put in a good performance, got a, fortuitous penalty against Sheffield United, but that kept the ball rolling. And now he's had probably his first wholehearted man of the match display of the season, except for maybe the Club Brugge hat-trick back in August. He was absolutely superb from start to finish, scored that penalty with aplomb, and, it looked like we were going to go really well. He does really well to hold the play up. He's got a great bit of football intelligence that he showed when he waited for Lingard, slipped in Jesse Lingard returning to the team after a couple of months out with injury, well, not quite that long, a couple of weeks out with injury, and he took a while to get his first United goal, but he's been given opportunities by Louis van Gaal and he's definitely taken him. He's the first youngster, since Adnan Januzaj a couple of years ago under Moyes, who really seems like he might be able to go somewhere, as far as the first team goes in the future. So I'm very happy for him. Obviously maybe the England squad this summer is a bit of a stretch, but you never know. Players can put together outstanding runs of form in the Premier League. You look at Harry Kane, a couple of years ago, Ross Barkley, Luke Shaw got into the England squad off of performances like that. So good for him. We're 2-0 up, and what do? We then go and make it difficult for ourselves. Newcastle, with a real Route 1 ball in, get the ball down, and Chris Smalling loses Georginio Wijnaldum. Fair play to Wijnaldum. Splendid finish. One touch, past the hair, no chance for Spanish Dave, and all of a sudden it's 2-1. If we could have made it to half-time at 2-0, maybe Newcastle wouldn't have quite had the fight that they did. Full credit to Newcastle. I'm a big fan of the True Geordie on YouTube, and I know he was very happy about this. They showed a lot of passion that I haven't seen from them this season. And, fair play to them. They did quite well to get themselves back in the game. The penalty decision in the second half, yes, it was a bit harsh on Smalling. Yes, he was holding him. Yes, he had his arms around him. But, come on, we see that literally 5 times a game in the Premier League nowadays. I don't see why Mike Dean decided to give that one over the other ones. Mitrovic had him by the throat, for God's sake, just because he lost his balance and Smalling ended up body slamming him in the end. Maybe you reflected a bit negatively on Smalling. But ultimately, I think Dean gave the penalty for 2 reasons. One, he probably realised that the penalty he gave in the first half was a bit harsh. And referees have difficult jobs. They have to make split-second decisions. He saw it hit Mbemba's arm and he decided to blow his whistle given the penalty. I'm not complaining, but everybody else was, because everyone hates United except United fans. Everybody else was outraged. And then, I mean, I didn't personally see, exactly, the incidents that were being talked about, but apparently Newcastle had a couple of very, questionable, tackles in the penalty box, not given for penalties. So the fact that they did end up giving one, I think it was probably because Dean realised that he'd had a bit of a bad game, and he thought, what's one more bad decision to even the playing field? And then Mitrovic steps up, does exactly what Rooney does, puts it in the other side, and all of a sudden it's 2-2. I was at work checking it on my phone whenever I got the opportunity, and I managed to check it at some very opportune times. Like I said, I watched the first 10 minutes of the game. I saw Rooney convert the penalty. Then I went to work. The next time I checked it, I went and looked, and it said Manchester United 2-0 up, and I'm thinking brilliant. And literally, as I am loading the BBC Sport page on my iPhone, it comes up saying Newcastle have pulled a goal back. So I'm thinking, oh, brilliant, right before half time. Finding out we were 2-0 up, immediately, completely reversed when I find out that we've conceded a goal. Then I go back to work, about half an hour later, go check again, and I look up and I'm thinking, okay, it's still 2-1. And literally, as I am taking a piss, looking at my phone, it flashes up saying it's 2-2. So apparently I had a sixth sense to check my phone when some shit was going down. But that aside, we moved on in the game. Apparently, from all I could tell from the highlights I saw and from what everyone was saying, most entertaining United match of the season. Go fucking figure that I wasn't watching it. But at least we're showing a bit more attacking intent now, and we showed a bit of grit and determination, something that we've really, been missing, and we showed a lot of character. We brought Memphis Depay on, and I think Memphis Depay is a bit of a curious case. With the exception of that game against Club Brugge back at the beginning of the season, he's been much better off the bench than he has been from starting. I remember he started against Stoke on Boxing Day, and he was completely useless. He was directly responsible for Stoke's first goal. He was completely anonymous going forward and got taken off at half time. But when he comes on, 60 minutes into the FA Cup tie at the weekend, he registers one of our two shots on target in the entire game, has a good go at their fullback and wins a penalty, and ultimately, even though Rooney did put the penalty away, he was the one who made that happen. He won us the game against Sheffield United. So I don't blame Louis van Gaal for not starting the kid if he's got more of an impact off the bench, and this time he does the exact same thing. He has a big impact. He was coming inside and he was trying to take a shot, but ultimately he created the space for Wayne Rooney to just sit there, Paul Scholes like on the edge of the box, and wait for the ball. If Depay's shot gets deflected, that's where Rooney was, and my word, I've not seen Wayne Rooney strike a ball that sweetly for many, many, many years. Maybe not many years. At least since end of last season. Midway through last season, he has not been in good form. He had a terrible end. Back half of 2015, and he started 2016 like he's shot out of a cannon. And he's had a lot of critics, and all credit to him for sticking by himself and really having faith in himself. Full credit to Van Gaal for having faith in him as well. But maybe he can put the team on his back a bit, because we need a character like Wayne Rooney to be playing at his best, to kind of boost the performances of everybody around him. When Rooney plays well, the rest of the team typically plays well, at least in an attacking sense. He was right in the middle of it today, and I'm very happy with his performance. Absolutely corking strike. I went and, checked again, funnily enough, 90th minute of the game. I'm thinking, right, the game should be finishing. I'm going to pop off, to the bathroom and have a look at my phone, and literally as I pull it up, it says 3-2, pops up, Paul Dummett scores, puts the ball in the top corner, and I'm just sitting here like, oh, for God's sake, United. We were doing so well. We started 2016 with an absolute bang. We beat Swansea. Not a great performance, but a good result. Got through in the FA Cup to win away at Newcastle. That would be perfect momentum to go into this Liverpool game we've got on Sunday, which is an absolutely massive game for our season. And to piss it away in the 90th minute is just irritating. Forget the fact that we were 2-0 up and we should have been home and hosed, before, the 90th minute. The fact that we then got pegged back to 2-2 and still went in front, I'm thinking, right, win this game 3-2, and I don't give a toss that you gave away those two goals. Like I said, I don't really care as much about clean sheets as I do about results and free-flowing attacking football. I'd take 3-2s over 1-0s any day, and we finally looked like we were getting there, and then the biggest slice of luck, really. And literally a slice, because Paul Dummett didn't really catch the ball that well. He has a shot from the edge of the box, and Chris Smalling's just very unlucky in the fact that it deflects off of him in the exact right way. The geometric alignment of where it hit him went right into the top corner. Anywhere else, and it was either off target or De Gea was saving it. It had to go right there. And you're just thinking, fine, whatever. Good performance going forward, not so great at the back. And that kind of brings me to my last point. Or, well, not my last point, but my main point is that we're really lacking the complete package this season. We defend really well for 90 minutes but can't score, get 8, 9 nils this season. We attack really well but concede like nobody's business, and it's 3-3 against Newcastle at St James's Park. We just got to put it all together. I keep referencing that game at Goodison Park. That's the only game this season where I've seen us do it, where we have defended solidly and we've attacked with a lot of verve and desire and creativity. If we can start to put that together on a regular basis, we can beat anybody in the league. I'm not saying we're going to win the league. I mean, it's not out of the question, but it's a bit, of a stretch at this point. But to get in top four, all we need to do is play like we did today in an attacking sense, and play like we have for the rest of the season in a defensive sense. I know it's probably is much easier said than done, but get it together, guys. You're professional footballers. You got a Manchester United badge on your shirt. Play for it. I thought Chris Smalling he's poor today, really. I mean, it's the first time I've said that about Smalling this season. I personally would pick him as United's player of the season so far, just because he's been so consistent and such a world away from where he was last season. He has come so far from that stupid knob who got sent off at the Etihad last season and screwed us out of that game, really, because we were right in that game even with 10 men. Imagine what we could have done with 11. And since then, he's really taken to Louis van Gaal's philosophy, and he's been an absolute titan. But today he was poor. He lost Wijnaldum for the first goal, conceded the penalty, and got the deflection for the third goal. Bad day at the office for Chris Smalling, but now he needs to come back. He's one of these players who a lot of people have sort of said, I wonder if he's going to be quality, or if he's just going to be another, run-of-the-mill English centre-back that never really went anywhere. He's been in the England squad for 4 years now. He's obviously got bags of potential. Ferguson saw that. Moyes saw that. Louis van Gaal has seen that, and he's put him in, and he's had faith in him. All he needs right now, in my opinion, is he needs a defensive partner who is as good as he is, because Blind is not cutting it. Phil Jones is not cutting it, because every time he comes in, he either has a nightmare of a performance or he gets injured, or both. So it's one of those things where he needs someone who is as consistent as him next to him, so he can build that partnership. Because if we get that, and then once we've got Luke Shaw back from injury, obviously that's still a few months away, you're sort of thinking start of next season at this point. Get him a centre-back partner in the summer. Aymeric Laporte, John Stones, any one of these young, up-and-coming, soon-to-be world-star centre-backs. If we can get one of those to partner Chris Smalling, get them playing together, and with a solid, foundation at the back, we can build and we can become the Manchester United of old again. It's not that far away. We're not a million miles away. It may seem like it sometimes, but we're really not. With all that said, my man of the match, of course, is Wayne Rooney. He's really been good in 2016 so far, and I hope that, I think the stat is if he scores against Liverpool on Sunday, which he does enjoy doing. He did miss a penalty at Anfield last season, but let's forget that. He does like scoring against Liverpool. He does hate Liverpool. So I'm hoping that he can actually break this record of, it's been about, I think it was 2012, they said, early 2012, back when he had his last, 30-plus goal season in a United shirt, was the last time he scored in 4 consecutive games in all competitions. And to be honest, for a player like Wayne Rooney, that's pretty bad. He should have done that, every season since then. So he really needs to get back on it. And if he can score a goal at Anfield and we can get the victory on Sunday, I'm all for it. But this game on Sunday really is going to be a big test for us, because Liverpool played well in a 3-3 draw. They were on the other side of it, where they scored a 90th minute equaliser in a 3-3 with Arsenal. So at Anfield, we've beaten them once this season, but that was under Rodgers. Now they're under Klopp. It really is anybody's guess. I could see us going there and absolutely dominating like we did last season. Turn it into Juanfield again. Get Juan Mata, scoring bicycle kicks at the in front of the United fans, mugging off the Kop end. That's fine with me, But as far as it goes, performance is very important, but we need a result on Sunday. We cannot lose to Liverpool, because that will just be a complete momentum killer. A draw wouldn't be the worst result in the world if it is paired with a good performance and a strong performance. But ideally, come on, we want to beat the Scousers. We always do. I'm really looking forward to the game. So if you guys have any comments, anyone who's watching, I'll happily talk with you about it. I've obviously talked for quite a bit here. But if there's anything you want to ask me about, go ahead and do that. And we'll see you on Sunday for the big game. Well, if United win, then we'll probably do the review right after the game. If United don't win, it'll probably be until next week. So thanks for watching, and see you next time.